on to you Virgos out here? Hopefully y'all are having a good day. So for you Virgos, you have the King of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and then you also have the Four of Pentacles. So what I'm seeing here for you Virgos, right, is basically you got some people around you that you kind of see the game of, but they don't want to understand the fact that you Virgos are like 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 steps ahead of them, where it is that you know what's going on. And so the situation for you is, again, the Four of Pentacles represents you Virgos are just remaining calm, cool, and collected. Because what's happening here is, again, the King of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. A lot of you Virgos, pretty much, you understand that, some people have played a game with you. And again, like the Four of Pentacles, that's the thing about having a life. You don't have to care, right? Like the people who ultimately, really get really, torn up about this stuff, proverbially, of course, spiritually, are the people who usually don't have anything else. When you have something else to do, it's like, well, whatever. you know, you know what I mean? You'll probably feel it for about a couple of days, and then after that, you'll be like, well, life goes on. Anyway, enough about that. And so the thing is that the Five of Swords represents their like half-baked ideas, right? And that how it is that it didn't work. It didn't actually work on you Virgos because you are accustomed to being betrayed. You're accustomed to being ignored. And so they can't really get one over on a person who is accustomed to it, but also knows how to deal with that, right? How to actually diffuse the situation or to figure it out, like is trained in that and what to do. They can't really, it just, because what it looks like is it just ends up looking like it just ends up looking like clockwork. It's like, you're, because you Virgos are accustomed to it. And clockwork it is, because the Four of Pentacles represents how you Virgos, you're just remaining calm and you're moving forward with your life, taking care of yourself. And then you have the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. You're prepared for pretty much anything because, once again, you've had to deal with so many people. You just, just like, it's just, you had to deal with people's tomfoolery. You know what I mean? Their dysfunction for a large portion of your life. And so the thing is that the Six of Cups represents, but however, you're going to hear from some of these people, though. They're going to reach back out and be like, hey, what's going on? And then it'll be up to you, Virgos, to make a decision on whether or not you're going to speak to them, or whether or not you're going to speak to them or just ignore them. Right? And so the thing is that the Nine of Wands, and the Chariot right here, right? These two cards right here represents how it is that a lot of you Virgos, you're just so, I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of you Virgos who are prepared for this, prepared for betrayal and all of that, you're just so far ahead from compared to a lot of other people. You're not, again, like that's another thing too that really makes it so that you don't really end up getting like too caught up when things don't necessarily go your way, is when you have plans within plans, right? Like if I couldn't find someone in the States, my plan was to essentially go to another country anyway, because of the cost of living there. A lot of times people, it's like, listen, a lot of times people are like, well, if you go over there, they doing this. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Somebody was calling me. I got to give them a call back, actually. Yeah, somebody was calling me. But the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that a lot of you Virgos are a lot of y'all are ahead of the game, right? And so, I've had plenty of people tell me, oh, don't bring the ladies back here. I'm not planning on bringing one. I'm not planning on bringing them here, basically. You know, um, so once again, like I'm getting kind of finished up with my stock portfolio and stuff like this. Well, not finished forever, but finished for a little time. That way I ain't got to really worry about X, Y, and Z. I could, predominantly save it and stuff like this. But the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that a lot of you Virgos are thinking ahead. And that's also one of the things that makes it so that you don't really get too mad too much like that, is because when you're able to see the bigger picture, right? When you're able to see what's coming, what's happening around you now, situations that's happening, more than likely you won't really be upset because you've seen all of this stuff playing itself out, right? Part of the frustration comes from the unexpected, the unexpected outcomes, right? Or the things that we don't necessarily expect. And so when we expect it, because we see it happening, it's like, okay, yeah, you kind of thought that this would happen, so that's why it is that you're prepared, right? Whether it's you actually took steps to figure this out, or whether it was you decided to take it, right? You just took the outcome. Anyway, and the thing is that the chariot represents, again, whatever it is that they have to say to us, or whatever our interactions are, is not going to be upset. We're not going to be upset with them. We're just going to, some of us are going to talk to them. Some of us are just going to be disciplined and say nothing, right? And that's reflected in the moon card. A lot of us Virgos, if we do decide to speak to them, we will essentially let what it is that we got to say fly. We will say what it is that we got to say. I don't really see that a lot of us Virgos will probably look to be disrespectful. It's just that we're just going to say what it is, right? Everything that's on a Virgo's mind, obviously, is not disrespectful, of course, right? And so we're, like I said before, we're basically just going to say what it is that we got to say. Like, if a person is coming in, we're showing back up, we're going to ask them like, okay, well, what exactly is going on? We're going to actually address the silent part, but address it out loud. And for a lot of us, the ones who decide not to speak to them, we will just deal with the emotions of letting go of a person or people that was once important to us, But like I said before, that's how it is that, sometimes things end up, right? People, you understand that, like, a lot of times people are untrustworthy, the wishy-washiness and stuff like this. That's not good. That's whack. You feel me? Because it shows that a person is essentially untrustworthy when they are wishy-washy, right? Because it shows that they can't make, like, it shows that they deal with things in the extremes, which is not one of the markers for a real leader. You can't really deal with a whole lot in extremes. Why? Because what that would look like is a person would like deal with you Virgos, right? And then for the time being, you mad cool. But then like when they decide, okay, or when they get emotional about it, they wash over in the far extreme in the other way too. Now they start going to the extreme. Now they got to show you how wild they are. But all of this that they're doing is showing how emotional and how unprepared they are. Because people, again, too many Indian chiefs, not enough Indians. People who acting like they're a leader and all of that, you're not supposed to get that emotional like that. Because other people are watching, and regardless of the who to what, they are forming their perspectives about how this person could have handled that situation a lot better. And they start looking at that person like, if this person is extreme like that, with like, some people will think, I don't want to get on this person's bad side. But another person will think, if this person is extreme like that with them, then that means They just outside having fun. They doing their thing. They in the playground, but having fun. Don't even worry about that. Trust me. Don't worry about that. I don't want y'all to think, nah, no way. But they just outside and they just making noise, right? You know what I'm saying? They outside with their parents, so the little ones are outside. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that just to kind of show you that there's no funny stuff going on, right? There's nobody in here other than me. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody in here other than me. But there's nobody in here other than me. But the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that so again, like they'll think to themselves, okay, well, if you can be that extreme with such and such a person that you said it on one hand that you just said that you like, trust me, it go down like that. The way that it happens, you be thinking a lot of times people end up being on the same team, but they just waiting for a chance to really betray each other, because when they get upset with one another, they bring that up. Like, I seen what it is that you did. And so a lot of us Virgos, we're just ahead of the curve, because the Sun card and the Judgment represents the Judgment pretty much represents like the issues that other people may have with us, and the Sun card just represents how we're tiptoeing through the tulips. We're having a grand fun time being alive, enjoying our life, living our lives and all of that stuff, while like a lot of other people are really needing to kind of make up a story, a nanny boo-boo story about why they can't rock with us or whatever the case may be. So it is what it is. And and it is what it is at the end of the day. This is just a regular routine, because people will come up with excuses, and the excuses are insane excuses. So you Virgos need, if you do decide to speak to them, be prepared to hear some pretty insane excuses, or for them to basically like make up something on the fly that sounds stupid, just so that they can have a problem. Just make up something. So the situation for you Virgos is address the quiet part, but address it out loud. Figure out what exactly is going on, or if you have something to say to them, just say what it is. Don't get too wild, at first at least, and just say what it is. Say what it is that you got to say. And then you probably, more than likely, you probably get a favorable reply. So let's clarify the Judgment card. Right? The Six of Swords, Five of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Pentacles, and then you have the Hermit card. So to clarify the Judgment. So these three cards right here for you, Virgos, again, it just represents people's issues that they have to create in their mind, the delusion of grandeur, right? You got to be the villain to them. But all it's doing is revealing how just messed up they actually are, right? So because they may come at you, again, be prepared. They're going to come at you from a perspective of like the adversary, right? Them being kind of adversarial with you. And it's gonna look kind of weird. I'm not even gonna lie, because you Virgos you may not even have a bad thought about them in that regard, right? Or really want to see them doing bad. And so the King of Pentacles and the Hermit represents this will just remind us of why it is that we chose to essentially be in hermit mode, to just mind our business. I know I'm minding my business. And so by the time the discussion is finished, either one or two things is going to happen. Either they're going to respect it, or they're going to be quite upset with you. But either way, or both, right? But either any of those choices, just know that you Virgos did impact people. But what it is to say the quiet part out loud. A lot of people are fronting about you Virgos' desirability. A lot of people are faking the funk and fronting and being like, oh, well, and acting brand new, acting like, you Virgos are not attractive. They're not attracted to you. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just fronting, but then while putting on a very good act. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing that's jamming them up too. It's they want to act like they're still better than you while at the same time still want to be with you. So let's clarify the Six of Cups just to prove that point even further, right? Ace of Swords, Page of Swords. This is what I'm talking about. Seven of Wands, the Justice card, and the Sun card. That's exactly what I'm referring to. The Ace of Swords and the Ace of Swords, Page of Swords, Seven of Wands. Again, it speaks to the excuse that they're making up. They're going to try to make it seem like it's making sense. And like the reason why it is that they're saying that about you Virgos when you get a chance to talk to them is because they're doing it right, but they're trying to allude to something else, right? As if like the reason why it is that you decided to kind of ghost and lay low and stuff like this for a little bit is because you got some goofy stuff going on. It's like, no, it's just that what you Virgos got going on is you just prefer to stay out of the way because you understand how wishy-washy other people are. Not only that, but you Virgos also understand that, you've got some plans that y'all want to actually do, right? You want to actually get it done. So you don't have time to waste. So what a lot of people are not paying attention to is you behind the scenes, you're working and getting to where it is that you want to go, like I talked about, right? And so the Justice card and the Sun card right here speaks to how a lot of you Virgos, but by the time the discussion is done, like I said before, and you Virgos actually address the quiet part out loud, it's going to make whatever kind of issues they had with you, it's going to be apparent. It's going to be in your face. It's going to be very obvious, to be more accurate, how stupid whatever issue that they came up with you was about. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get the YouTube channel to 200K. I'm at 23,800 and change. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. Peace.